Hello Weekend Crafter! Welcome back to the Craft Time Studio. This is Ange, your Weekend Crafter, and for this weekend, I'm sharing with you how to make some cute studs. If this is something that interests you, I hope that you consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio for your weekend dose of crafts. Of course, we are starting with some cleaning before we begin with making. I use a glass mat, so I just spritz the glass with some alcohol and wipe it down. Let's start with a simple geometric slab. I'm using this small pentagon-shaped cutter. Next, I want a clean backside, so I roll out some gold clay into the number 7 setting and place it on the glass mat. This will serve as the back part of my studs. Next, I roll out some blue clay into the number 3 setting. The same goes for my gray granite clay. Now it's time to assemble the pieces. Cut the edges of the clay to get a flat side. Next, get the excess gold clay and roll it into the number 3 setting as well. Cut a very thin strip of the gold clay. Dust this strip with some shiny mica powder. Place the gray granite at the bottom and then the gold strip. Finally, sandwich the gold strip with the blue clay. As you can see, I'm pushing everything with my tissue blade. Then I got a soft plastic and placed it on top of the clay before pushing the cutter down. As a final touch, I covered the perimeter with a strip of gold clay to finish the stud. It's pretty challenging working with small pieces, so even if people just see it as a small piece, it might surprise them to know that so much work goes into making them. This is how the stud looks like once it's baked. Moving on to the second pair of studs, I'm getting the yellow-orange clay and rolling it out into the number 3 setting. I place the plastic onto the clay before pushing down the circular cutter. Next, I get some white clay and punch some daisies. I cut up the petals of these daisies and shape them before pressing the 3 petals together. I get the same circular cutter that I used and cut off the tips of the petals. I then texture these petals using a tissue blade. Finally, I attach a circle to the petals. I also texture this center by poking it with my detail needle. Finally, I push in my post with an extended peg. This then goes into the oven for baking. And we're finally down to our last pair. I am making some floral studs. Again, I roll out my clay into the number 3 setting. In making studs, I prefer going with the thicker setting. I use the soft plastic again to make my circles. Next, I bring my gold clay out and roll it to the number 7 setting. I really want the back of my slabs to have this gold color. I also roll out my violet clay into the number 7 setting. I punch 2 flowers per color. Next, I get a small circular cutter and lightly press 2 circles at the side. Then I arrange the petals on the studs. I also texture each of the petals using the detail needle. Finally, I use my small circular cutter to punch a circle for the center. Again, I cut a strip of gold to go around the studs to finish it off. You could stop at this, but I wanted a pair that had dangling pearls on it, and so I got an eye pin and pressed it at the bottom of the stud. Once the studs were baked, I pulled out the eye pin and sanded it a little bit for a better adhesion. I also sanded the post and the back of the earrings before attaching it with some super glue. Finally, I attached a small pearl at the bottom of the earring. This is how the baked piece looks like. And that is it for today's tutorial. I really had fun making these 3 kinds of studs. If you enjoyed, let me know in the comments below. Have a crafty weekend. Bye!